Good evening and thank you for joining us. And Aaron, it seems that as the season goes on, we're getting to know the Bobcat players just a little bit more, hey?
Oh, exactly. And it seems like this time, Casey Knight, he's on the show, and he's kind of an outrider, very personality, has a lot of personality, and Mike Baden got that all out of him. So we'll have that coming up in sports.
Sounds good. And Gerard woke up this morning and it felt like winter.
It
feels really cold. Really.
Think about last evening after the late night cast heading on home. It was brutal then, but we still got a ways yet, eh? So let's not call it on too soon, eh? That goes for me too, but it is cold, honestly. And with that wind not doing us any favors today, it was gusting at times, getting up to 48 kilometers an hour at one stage, basically north-northwest heading. At the moment, it's coming out of the west at about 37 kilometers an hour, humidity at 37%, and we're sitting at 5, got there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They started off a bit overcast, but it's turned out pretty nicely indeed. So as we compare, it's a similar story across the Cold Lake and area as well into the Battlefords. They got to 5 at 2 o'clock. In the Battlefords, a bit more overcast. Matter of fact, the morning did have some snow. So there you go again talking about it. But it's cleared off now and sitting at 4 since at about 3 in the afternoon. Is there more on the way? Hopefully not. But we'll find out all that's coming in the second segment.
This time of year is peak season for animals to wander the highways, prompting wildlife officers and RCMP to caution drivers to watch out. The reminder comes after the latest death caused by a crash involving a moose last night near Kitscoty. Kathy Lee has the details about what the collision entailed and what you can do to be safe on the road.
For the most part, this coast is generally clear of wild animals during the daytime.
Early morning and evening are the prime times when the animals are moving their most.
But when the night falls, it's a different story, a tragic story. Last night, an accident involving a car and wild game.
We were in the patrol car heading northbound, and the moose came out of the ditch in front of us. A southbound vehicle, there was a southbound vehicle, hit the moose head on. The
front end completely smashed up. Of the 4 people in the car, a 32-year-old female died on scene and the others unharmed. Constable Baraneski says these accidents do happen frequently.
Yes, yeah, we do. We get deer strikes, moose strikes all the time.
Especially this time of year. Today is the first day of hunting season, and wild game tend to roam in ditches and across the highways more often.
Typically the fall time is when most of the big game animals mate or rut, and yeah, it's a time of year when they're moving around most.
And Visser says the animals aren't particular about any specific highway.
Anywhere that you have like good habitat, lots of bush and some river valleys, those are popular spots, but there's not a highway around here that there's more or less animals around or in the general area there.
And while an accident like this can't always be avoidable, drivers are cautioned to be more aware around this time of year just to be on the safe side.
Lots of times you'll be able to see their eyes in the ditch during the twilight hours or at dark. But yeah, you should just keep an eye open for them and drive defensively. If you do see them, slow down.
Kathy Lee, Newcap News.
The name of the deceased is not being released at this time and no charges are expected as a result of the incident. Highway 16 will reopen to traffic tonight after being closed all day. 3 weeks ago, a transport truck collided with the CP rail overpass on the eastern edge of the city. The highway was closed this morning at 7 a.m. to do some final construction on the new bridge. Throughout the day, traffic was rerouted south along town around 12th Street, causing delays. The completion of the bridge is not only good news for drivers, it will also help CP Rail return to their regular train schedule. St. Paul held its second annual Walk of Hope today in conjunction with the Columbus House of Hope. As Clayton Brown explains, November is Family Violence Prevention Month, and community members are trying to bring the issue to the forefront.
For the second straight year, the Columbus House of Hope kicked off November with a march, trying to get people aware of the ongoing issues in all communities surrounding family violence.
Statistics Canada says that 62% of the general population either has experienced family violence or knows somebody that has experienced family violence. So it's everywhere, and we need to talk about it. It's not a private family matter, it's everybody's business.
We see family violence on a daily basis, and we've got to get the word out there that it's got to stop. It's a continuous problem, and this is one way. Small steps. We have to take small steps to get to the large step.
A big key to prevention is today's youth, and the organizers specifically involve students in the walk for that exact reason.
Starting with kids is really important because prevention can start at a kid's level. And with children at school, we do presentations on anti-bullying, hands are not for hitting, words are not for hurting, and kids are wonderful to engage in awareness walks such as this.
If we can stop it in this generation, that means that it's something that consequent or subsequent generations won't have to deal with.
Family Violence Prevention Month is meant to create awareness and keep the issue from being swept under the carpet. And many say the problem must be dealt with as a community.
We all need to take part in the prevention, and that's talking about it and making it okay for others to talk about it and come forward as well. Giving people the tools.
In St. Paul, Clayton Brown, Newcap News.
Business owners are constantly looking for ways to gain an edge on their competitors. Well, early this morning, dozens of people took part in a seminar geared towards creating a brand that will draw in customers.
83%, how do they find what you have and where it's located?
Lloydminster has seen a lot of growth over the last decade, and it's in large part due to business innovators like Roger Brooks. He travels the world giving people ideas on how to enhance their communities.
It's about making the place you live a better, more successful destination. And that's tough these days because there's more ghost towns in the making today than ever before in North American history.
Does this look like a nice place to go in, say, January or February?
Brooks has been to over 1,000 communities, and he sees the same advertising flaw time and time again.
Everybody's saying the very same thing. You know, come to Lloydminster, we have something for everyone. Well, have you ever gone anywhere that had something for everyone? We don't. We go where there's something specific for us. If we want dinosaurs, we're going to go to Drumheller. If we want Star Trek, we're going to head down to Vulcan. So why should we head to you, as a visitor or as a place to work or as a place to live?
Brooks hopes that people who attend his seminars will go out and try to create their own unique brand.
These days, you can't be all things to all people. So what is that one thing that makes me want to come to Lloydminster from Edmonton or from Calgary or from Saskatoon? And how does it set you apart?